This episode of Spectre Sound Studios is brought to you by 70,000 Tons of Metal, the ultimate heavy metal cruise.
Is this whole argument just that 90% of guitarists don't actually know what tone means?
No, it's just that 90% of guitar players think that their tone exists in isolation instead of in a mix through speakers, recorded by microphones, and then judged by the people who buy the records and might not necessarily play guitar. All right, hold on a second. Let me stop you right there, Kim. I guess some people just don't like it when you're honest. Good morning. Hope you're going to have a hell of a day. Thought I'd do a viewer's comments. Had a couple extra spare minutes. Figure, what the hell? Why not? Got a few words coming up about the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise. But right now, let's get to your comments and questions. Because hopefully, I can be helpful to somebody.
The fact that nobody has ever created a good song playing a Harley Benton guitar should not be overlooked.
Well, I've been saying for the last 10 years that nobody's ever created a good song with auto-tune, but that certainly hasn't stopped everybody from using it.
There are some real quantifiable benefits to a better quality guitar, e.g. shielding on cavities so less noise, trums that stay in tune, tuners that keep in tune, even frets, blah, blah, blah. Most of that stuff can be sorted with a good setup. The reason for going high-end instrument is you like it more, and maybe it'll inspire you.
All right, hold on a second. Let me stop you right there, Kim. I always see that, it'll inspire you, it'll inspire you. Yes, because my music collection is just littered with songwriters who bought really expensive guitars and were inspired to write really amazing, mind-blowing songs I want to listen to again and again and again. No, hold on. I got a little confused there. Let me reiterate. What I've been hearing a lot of more than anything are like 9-minute gent epics that are completely self-indulgent that I would never ever want to listen to ever again, no matter how much money was paid to me. Guitar players love crawling up their own asses when it comes to this sort of thing.
Your videos and opinions are great. I think you deserve more than 1 million subscribers.
Thanks very much, Simon. I would really like to get a gold play button one day, but right now I haven't even cracked 650. That gold play button at this point seems pretty much mission impossible considering I've been doing YouTube for 11 years. I've gotten hundreds of millions of views. That's great, but I still can't seem to do 1 million subscribers. Never quite been able to figure that one out. I guess some people just don't like it when you're honest. But if you are watching and you enjoy the content that I create, I would very much appreciate you hitting the subscribe button because it's absolutely free.
How do you solve the problem that anything that feels like a kick drum beater to the player feels like a not-so-minor earthquake to anybody else in an apartment block? I'm working on a solution for some years now, but every time I'm having a breakthrough, I end up having new game-breaking problems. Gonna post again as soon as I have real results.
If you haven't specified if you're playing acoustic or electronic drums, I know electronic drum noise levels can be a bit of a problem, so I'm going to address that first, especially if you're in an apartment block, that kind of thing. One thing you might want to do is try getting yourself a couple of 4x8 sheets of plywood and putting them together so you got a nice 8x8 platform. And then go to your local sporting goods store and get some cheap hockey pucks. Because they're rubber, that will acoustically isolate your drum set from the floor. Yeah, I just double checked. You can get yourself a 12-pack of hockey pucks on Amazon Canada for $30 Canadian. That's about 24 US dollars. 12 pucks should be enough to get you enough support under that platform as well. That might really do the trick. Now, if you're playing in an acoustic kit, I remember John Sayers had a solution for this sort of thing. There was a drummer who wanted to play drums in his garage and not disturb his neighbors. One thing he did was he did plywood. He built like a little plywood cage around the drummer, like an octagon kind of thing. You had 4x8 sheets of plywood standing vertically, and he had them all kind of hinged together so he could put this octagon or septagon or whatever the hell you want to call it, like a 12-sided one, around the drum set. And then he had like packing blankets on the inside, and that was enough once he sealed up the garage door as well to keep the sound from leaking out and pissing off his neighbors. But that was a concrete floor as well. But if the kick drum is a problem, especially if you're playing on electronic kit, yeah, the platform might be just the ticket for you. Fortunately, it's not that expensive of a fix.
Glenn, some people are very sensitive. You need to measure the acoustic sound level of this thing. The clicking sounds would still cause a noise complaint in HMOs. What's it like with rubber or plastic sticks? Wouldn't that suck like it would on an acoustic kit, would it?
Oh, of course, you're talking about the Elisa's kit review I just did. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I have heard mixed things about that, electronic kits and whatnot. Again, I'd say do the platform thing. And yeah, maybe build a little bit of isolation in whatever room you're playing in. There used to be the John Sayers Studio Design Forum, which was really helpful for that kind of thing. It's not so much the stick thing, it's about how sound is leaking out of whatever room you're playing in. HMO, I think you mean Homeowners Association. HMO is like a health plan of the States, isn't it? I might be wrong on that. Somebody correct me if I am wrong. I would love to know. But personally, I would never ever fucking live in a residential area that had some kind of homeowners association. Like, fuck that noise. noise. No fucking thank you, that's for sure. Especially if you're a musician, that's just a really bad idea. Yeah, before I go changing out the sticks and that kind of thing, I would definitely see about sealing up whatever doors I have, because that's probably where the sound's leaking. Even if you've got just a tiny little crack of space top to bottom on your door or whatnot, that's where the sound's gonna get through. It's like the door might as well not even exist. Neoprene seals, you want to get that and make sure your door closes so you can get those magnetic seals or that kind of thing. That's what you want to get, and you want to make things airtight because that's what makes things soundproof.
Hey, how does this kit do with using it as a controller for something like SSD or Easy Drummer?
I didn't have a chance to demo that part of the Alesis kit yet. What I played so far impressed the hell out of me in terms of sensitivity and whatnot. I will tell you this, I've got my personal kit coming out in the next month or two. We recorded it in Toronto. That's my Pro Masters Maple Gum, and we rented like some of the best snares imaginable, including the fabled Tama Bell Brass. And this sounds just absolutely wicked. And that's on Contact Player. So I will put that drum set to the test with that when that video comes out. Stay tuned. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you get notified when that video comes out. Once again, it doesn't cost anything. It's absolutely free. All right, this week's episode is brought to you by 70,000 Tons of Metal, the world's most amazing heavy metal cruise. It set sail on January the 29th, and yeah, there are still a couple of cabins left. Now, if you love metal and you're completely done with winter kicking your ass, this is your hard reset. Sun, metal, and booze, and absolutely nobody telling you to lighten up. 70,000 Tons of Metal 2026 is sailing to Nassau in the Bahamas and is wall-to-wall live metal the entire trip. Multiple stages, bands playing constantly. You see what you want when you want. You're on the ship and you get access to all the shows. I've been going since 2019 and it's a total blast, but I gotta mention this, there are only so many cabins, and once they're gone, it is over. There's no extra dates, no miracle restock, and no crying. This is metal, for fuck's sakes. This year's lineup is absolutely loaded. There's Anthrax, Soilwork, Dark Tranquility, Paradise Lost, and a ton more, plus meet and greets, musician clinics, 70,000 tons of karaoke, and yes, the always glorious belly flop contest. You can watch a band, grab some food, hit the sun deck, do a shore excursion, or just hang out in a hot tub and do absolutely nothing. I gotta admit, I've done that option more than a few times, and it's always been great. The food's solid, the music is non-stop, and the people, well, it's headbangers from all over the world, and they are simply amazing. So no, this is not hype. And if you're thinking, well, just check it out next year, that's how you never wind up going. Do yourself a favor, hit 70,000tons.com and grab a cabin while you still can, and I'll see you on board. Now, I didn't think I was going to get a butthurt of the week, and then I came across this comment, and all I got to say is, damn. Let's roll the clip.
Kaylors are junk. Floyds are the pinnacle of bulletproof, Glenn. Why do you complain and talk shit about so many things that are actually wrong about? I once liked your channel, but your content has switched to nonsensical bullshit. Gotta unfollow now.
Oh, Adam, take your tampon out. Seriously, dude, I talk about real-world problems I've had with Floyd Roses in the studio over the years. Most likely guitar players bringing them into the studio when they're paying by the hour and the guitar hasn't been set up properly. And I've got to take hours out of my time, which I could be spending, actually recording fucking music. And I'm the bad guy for mentioning that? What do you think? I just pulled these stories out of my ass? I literally had rooms full of musicians all staring at me. Glenn, come on, we got to get moving here. This is constant. It's like, yes, I'm working as fast as I can to get this thing done right. For studio work, this is a better design because it doesn't matter how hard you hit it. You're not going to knock the guitar out of tune. When you beat the crap out of a Floyd-equipped guitar, the fulcrum goes forward and drops the tuning ever so slightly. This is a better performer. That's not bullshit. That is reality, my friend. Now, if you've been watching my show for some time, Adam, I am truly grateful for that, and I'm sad to see you go. But here's the thing. I never promised to kiss your ass, and I never promised to say things that you'll agree with. I've only promised you one thing, to be honest.
Hey Glenn, love your stuff. Have you ever done a video on how to successfully sound treat a room on a budget? I really want to treat my room to minimize any noise disturbing my neighbors above and below me without having to play on one.
Okay, you've confused two things. Isolation with treatment. Treatment is the internal acoustic treatment to keep, echoes from fluttering around all over the place. And yes, I already did that video. Did a video back in 2014, 2015 when I just started the show about how to build your own bass traps for dirt cheap. There's like 300,000-400,000 views on that video. It's still very relevant to this day. And you can build them real cheap using just some rigid fiberglass and some steel studs and some cloth you can get at your local sewing store. So yeah, really easy to do. Now, isolating your sound from your neighbors above and below. That requires two things actually: mass and air tightness. Now, if you don't have enough mass above and below you, you're going to need to isolate yourself somehow. And that usually means, a special kind of drywall or a drywall MDF sandwich just to make that happen. That and your whole room needs to be airtight. Remember what I was saying about the neoprene seals earlier? Yeah, you still got to do that as well. My suggestion would be start looking for some acoustic design forums. You're going to get a lot of great information on there. And who knows, maybe if everything goes well this year, I'm going to get to build my new studio. And when that happens, I'm going to be videotaping the entire process of how to isolate something. So you can look forward to that. I really hope it happens. Fingers crossed. I got to hit up town council because I heard they just changed one of the bylaws, or they're about to change a bylaw, which might allow me to build on my property here. If not, I might have to move, and that's going to suck. But regardless, I've outgrown the space I'm in right now, and I need more space to work in. So stay tuned for that.
Is there a Canadian retailer that carries Harley Benton?
Unfortunately, no, there is not. You're going to have to order directly from Thomann. When I did my video on this, the Steve Brown signature from Guitar Fetish, the Harley Benton guys weren't too happy with me because I said, they're like, you didn't mention we have a US store. And I'm like, well, as a Canadian, you click on Reverb, guess what? It doesn't show up. You've literally got to change your country of origin and your currency to US to even see the Harley Benton store in these states. And the wild thing about that is that Harley Benton US store won't ship to Canada, so you literally have to order from Thomann. That all kind of sucks. So I am on the hunt right now for a Harley Benton type equivalent budget brand guitar that I can find in Canada, and that's probably going to have to be sourced from Amazon in one way or another. I have no idea what brand to look for at this point, but I have got my eyes out, and hopefully I'm going to get to find something really cool. Because if there's one thing I love doing on the show, it's recommending great budget gear.
Glenn! Are you going to NAMM? Also, can I get a guitar to you to review? Hope you had a great holiday season. Thanks for doing what you do. And of course, screw you, Glenn!
This is from Jamie Firefly. I can only hope, Jamie, that you're representing Firefly guitars. That's one brand I'd love to put on the show. So yes, if you're from Firefly, PM me, let's talk. And yes, I will be at NAMM. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And of course, I'm going to be on the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise as well. So if you haven't got your tickets yet and you've ever been on the fence about going, get your ticket now. Like seriously, let's hang out. I'm usually grabbing coffee in the main promenade in the mornings, and it's a good time to shoot the breeze. Anyway, hope to see you there. And oh yeah, right, if you want to see Firefly on the show, leave a comment below and say, hey, let's see a review of this.
What affects tone the most? Not even the speaker, it's your room acoustic.
See, this is the exact kind of unsubstantiated nonsense that permeates every corner of the internet guitar space. It's like, okay, great. You have a statement, but you have backed it up with absolutely zero evidence. You've not linked to any kind of recording or any kind of test you've done. This is the thing. I always try and back my claims up with tests I've done. That's how I get my conclusions, is through rigorous, repeatable testing. It's kind of how this is all supposed to work. Here's the deal. Okay, room acoustics do affect things, but probably way more when it comes to like drums, that sort of thing, than it does electric guitars. Because when you mic up a cabinet, you're micing it either dead on or 1 or 2 inches away. Yes, you can put a room mic up, but in metal, you really don't wind up cranking that up very much at all. As always, I've only come to these conclusions through years and years and years of trial and error, mostly error. So ignore it at your own risk.
Are Carbon Legacy cabinet V30s with date code in the mid-2003 affected by this issue?
Yes, I would think so, but 2003, you're probably going to be okay. I don't think Celestion moved Vintage 30 production out of the UK till about 2005. Fortunately, as far as things go, speakers are relatively inexpensive things to buy. They're maybe $100 or $200 or whatnot. And the new ones coming out of the UK, the new Vintage 30s, are fucking spectacular. I can't say enough good things about them. I'm so glad they moved production back to England because, man, they are definitely doing things right these days.
Glenn, have you tried any of the Phase amps? I recently picked up a Phase Asheville, which is supposed to be a Soldano SLO preamp clone, and I'm curious how it stacks up with the original. Regardless, I like the amp and will likely be purchasing another one because, well, gas. Phase seems like a cool small builder in Ontario.
Actually, Phase Amps is based locally here in Windsor or somewhere in Essex County. I know they're very, very local. I've seen them around, seen them on Facebook Marketplace, and I've seen a couple in local guitar stores, but I've never actually played one. I would absolutely love to get one on the show at some point, because I love supporting small local builders. Hell, I love supporting small Canadian builders. Hell, if you go back far enough, the first amp I ever reviewed on this show was actually from Rev. I reached out to them because I saw their booth at the first NAMM I ever went to. I didn't actually stop at that booth, but I reached out to them after the fact, said, hey, I'm from Canada too, like, let's check something out. And I remember I pulled that amp out of the box and plugged it in. It was the best thing I'd ever plugged into. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is like insanely good. And you know, that's been a really, really cool relationship I've had with those guys. So yeah, hey, whoever's building Phase amps, if you'd ever like to be featured on the show, look me up. I'd love to give you a bit of a spotlight and show the world what you can do.
Glenn, please bring back the rock and roll scream at the beginning of the videos.
No. There's one thing I got in the comments for that rock and roll scream was over and over and over again was, please stop that scream. So unfortunately, my friend, you're in the minority, so yeah, it's just not going to happen. The only way you're going to get me to scream on the show these days is just to say something really, really fucking stupid.
Hey Glenn, awesome vid as always. Has been watching your channel since about 2014, so keep up the great work.
Dude, thank you so much for watching that long. Damn, it's really been 11 years now, hasn't it? Fuck, I feel old.
Quick question. Fluff and Mendel reviewed the Line 6 Pod XT in the context of a more modern application and or whether it was worth the money back in the day. Would you ever consider doing a series on retro guitar tech in this vein, or maybe just use the preamp section with modern IR to see if old tech, especially budget stuff, can hold up against more modern stuff, e.g. Vailton GP5? Cheers from Robin Hood, Nottingham, England.
Nottingham, yeah, that's where Bad News took on the entire Nottingham constabulary. And they lost! Love that movie. Anyway, yes, that sounds like a great idea. Tell you what, I'm actually working on a piece on retro gear when it comes to Gallien-Kruger guitar amps, because I was actually a really big fan of those when I was younger. And I think they're really fucking cool, and they never got nearly enough credit. Although you probably know the tone pretty damn well because it was the amp that was used on Iron Maiden's Somewhere in Time. That song, Wasted Years, was a Gallien-Kruger. It was not a Marshall, and this was a total solid state design, and it was fucking awesome. I've got a couple different Gallien-Kruger pieces here. One's actually on loan from my friend Troy, and I've had it for way too fucking long, and I really need to get this video done so I can get it shipped back to him. Troy, thank you so very much for your patience, my friend. So yeah, keep in mind for that. And if that does well, I might start a whole series where we take a look at retro gear, what's out there on the used market, what might be maybe a little bit overlooked, and what might be really fucking cool in context. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so you get notified when that happens. It's not like it's going to cost you money. 25 years and no kids? Why? I'm just curious. Kids are the best. Cheers and good luck to both of you. Oh, thanks, man. That's following up on my wife's health follow-up and whatnot. Yeah, she's doing pretty great, actually. It's 9:30. I got to get my ass in the house pretty damn soon. She's like, oh, what the hell are you shooting all night for? Okay, anyway, so about the kids thing. I realized pretty early on in my 20s that having children was probably not the best idea because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've had some anger issues. I'm actually a graduate of anger management twice. So these days, as a somewhat slightly more mature adult, I can handle my anger a little bit better. I know how to walk away from a situation and diffuse things. But I wouldn't have wished 25-year-old me on a child, not in a million fucking years, that's for sure. I realized it would be very difficult for me and for the child. The thing is, I was very career-oriented as well. I knew what I wanted to do. I'd gone through school, and I knew I wanted to open the studio, and I wouldn't have the time to raise a child, and it wouldn't be fair to a child. At least I was smart enough to recognize that it wouldn't have gone well, that's for sure. So I've never really had any regrets for not having children. And I've talked to some of my other musician friends who are my age who've never had kids, and I asked them, I'm like, you ever regret not having kids? And the answer is universal. What, are you out of your fucking mind? All right, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to check out 70,000 Tons of Metal, the ultimate metal cruise. I hope to see you on board. Like I said, let's shoot the breeze, have some coffee, and go check out some awesome bands. I'm really looking forward to checking out Anthrax. Hope to see you on board. Anyway, got a really cool one coming up on Saturday. I think you're gonna like it. It might be just the world's most incredible guitar amp ever built. Can't wait to show you what that's all about. See you then. Perfectly reasonable response. Oh, now I didn't think I was gonna do it. You've been following my show for a while, and here's the thing: if you love metal and when does that fucking set sail? That's how you never wind up.